and again, controlling humanity through technology. And look what's happening now with the coronavirus out now. We've been warning you for years and years and years. It's all about control. It's just a stepping stone to what I am telling you about of transhumanism in the future. They have to take it in sections. They study the public, see how we react. They roll things out. Is there a mandatory vaccine coming? Who knows? But that'll be based on how the public reacts to what is going on. They study it, and then they roll out the next piece of the project. I'm going to play an interview with Anthony Patch. 2014, guys. I even included this in my documentary. Illuminati, the Black Gold Project, was telling you in 2014 it's all about control of DNA, third strand DNA. Our body is the temple of God, period. You may not believe that, don't want to believe it, but here's the problem. The enemy knows it and believes it, whether you believe it or not. I'm going to play this clip. Also, a quick note, remember YouTube took this documentary down that this clip is included in, Illuminati's Black Gold Project that I put out. So pay attention. I'm going to put it in this one as well.
So it sounds far-fetched to the average person who hasn't heard this before, but this is nothing new. But let's go beyond the rabies. Let's talk about people getting a flu shot or getting a avian flu inoculation. There's another very insidious disease, if you will, which is really a man-made disease. It's a biological construct called MERS coronavirus out of the Middle East. It's the Middle East respiratory syndrome. It's made its way into Europe to a certain extent, and eventually, because of air travel, it will reach around the world. It's another example of where inoculations or vaccines are being derived, or they're trying to derive for. That, again, I always like to go all the way to the end. What's the purpose? What's the goal? If you have a man-made or engineered virus, why was it created? Is it simply just to kill people? Well, that's one part of it, but if you go further and you go deeper than that, it is to get people to demand a vaccine, a shot, if you will, or a pill. Why would, if you're in a position of control, of power, of ultimate power, why would you want people to demand a vaccine? Well, it's because something's in the vaccine that you want people to then have as a part of their body. Well, what is in the vaccine that you want everybody to have inside their body? It is a DNA manipulator or modifier. I mentioned earlier third strand DNA. There is already, and you can find this on the internet, in existence, a third strand of DNA constructed of silicon. Again, we go back to the silicon chip in computers. The third strand is made of silicon and is also coated in gold. If you talk about nanotechnology and nano layers, this is extremely thin coating of gold down to a billionth of a millimeter of gold that is coating the silicon from which you are building a third strand of DNA. The purpose of the gold is to increase the surface area around this strand so that more information can be digitally imparted or programmed. You're essentially, what you're doing is you're creating a third strand of DNA. You are transferring that or imparting it into a person's body through a vaccine that that person's demanding because they're afraid of contracting MERS coronavirus or avian flu or whatever it may be. And so the government, if you will, or the powers that be sit back and they kind of chuckle when they say, well, we couldn't have forced people to take this vaccine or to take this hidden third strand of DNA, they would rebel against it. But if we create the problem and present the solution, people will demand the solution. Thus we achieve our ultimate goal of having this DNA in every person changed. Well, let's go deeper. What's the goal? What's the purpose? Yeah, you go around and change everybody's DNA. What do they become? They become a hybrid. The insidious part of this is that once a person is injected, almost immediately their DNA undergoes transformation. Almost immediately they lose all awareness of the fact that they've lost their independence, their ability to think on their own, to make decisions on their own, and to affect them on a moral level. Their moral independence, their beliefs, religious, moral, ethical, legal, all of those go away. If you remove the independent thought and that awareness that you've lost your independence is gone, what then do the powers that be do with these new forms of humans, hybrids? They can control them. They can turn them into a serf class. Not S-U-R-F, not surfers, but S-E-R-F, a class of slaves to serve the elite, to serve the Ray Kurzweils of the world who want to achieve immortality, but they need to have labor to manufacture, develop all of the technologies. And they have enough technologies now. The technology, the scientific world, if you will, has reached the level where they don't care about hiding it anymore. Their agenda is so far advanced, both politically, philosophically, their sense of morals, and technologically, that no longer are they worried about you and me as the serf class and the coming serf class. They're not worried about what we think. They're not worried about us rebelling. And in fact, we won't rebel, partly because right now we've been so dumbed down through a variety of mechanisms. But once people demand the virus and they truly are dumbed down to where they've lost that awareness that something's happened to me, now they can do what they want with us. They are achieving what I call the hive mentality, like a beehive. Worker bees, soldier bees, serving the queen. The queen, in my estimation, is this elite class that's in power, and it's not the politicians. Forget the politicians. This has nothing to do with Republicans, Democrats, Tea Party, Libertarians. It has nothing to do with political structure or classes. It has to do with the small group that is in control and has been in control since ancient times.
Transhumanism, it's a known thing now to most people on YouTube and the underground, but in the mainstream, not a lot of people have yet heard of it as just it being real. You see it in movies. The latest one is, Hobbs and Shaw. Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
It's funny how humanity's hate for each other is stronger than its own self-preservation, which is why we're here. Remember 8 years ago, Dec, when Etion asked us to join their mission?
Oh, you mean their death cult? They're lunatics.
Visionaries. Visionaries of a future. A bigger future, a brighter future. You remember the data they gave us, man? What with environmental damage, capitalism, terrorism? Humanity wipes itself out by 2096. Now, that is scary to me. Because what I realize now that I did not realize then is that when you shot me, you gave me a gift. Look at me. I'm Black Superman. Bulletproof, new spine, and the more machine I become, the more humane I am. This is what you want to fight for. What's it to be? Join the evolution of man, or die with the weak. You don't get it, do you? You know the weak deal with money. We deal with evolutionary change. Change that sometimes require acts of violence.
Like killing innocent people with viruses.
Only the weak ones. We're dealing with the future of the planet, things that money cannot buy.
Oh, like your soul back.
My soul? Your brother took my soul. The boys in the lab made me a new one. And that's progress.
Like killing innocent people with viruses.
Only the weak ones.